Hey, this week on TestPlug, we're interviewing Chris from Let's Make It Orkie. She is doing the old Twitch thing, streaming live painting a couple times a week. Kind of cool seeing technique and stuff. But we get to talk to her about where she started and project coming up. So thanks for watching TestPlug and check out some of her stuff. Well, Chris Brown, how you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. I guess the UK made it through 2020.
Just about by a hair.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of just deep breath of relief and glad it's over.
Definitely.
Hopefully the vaccine doesn't mutate people into monsters and we have zombie wars starting in 2021.
You say hopefully, but I have a mad fascination with zombies. So actually, that's the dream. That's the dream for me.
Well, at least we know they're slow and they only crawl. So realistic. Well, unless they're the World War Z zombies, and then there's...
and then you just out. Nah, I've had enough. I just want the Walking Dead zombies, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think we could all handle that a little bit. Well, then plus, you get to pick any house you want. You just have to fortify it.
Oh, 100%. I have so many plans already. It's become, I'm a mild doomsday prepper. Only mild.
Mild, right?
Only mild.
You don't own a whole collection of green-handled axes and machetes?
Not a whole collection.
Nice. All right. Well, so you do painted miniatures, and you're actually the first miniature painter I've had on here. So be a nice little transition into that world a little bit.
Oh, I feel special.
Yeah, you are special. I grew up doing more of your classic dungeon crawling kits as a kid, and then a little bit now as adults. I do more painting for other people is what I've been doing, because I'm not... everything I run anymore is all online, and we just kind of do it with pen and paper style. It's not, sit around the table and everybody drink 2-liter Mountain Dew anymore.
Oh, I miss those times going around to people's houses and playing big ass games on tables. It's been so long.
But let's get started with that. What started you in that world? What started you with painting and stuff?
I've always been into art in some way, shape, or form. Like growing up, I did art GCSE. I then went to college to do art, and then dropped out and tried a different college with art, and then dropped out because it was never... I could never do what I really wanted to do. So I just did art in my free time and decided to go to university for psychology instead, because I like people. So what better degree? Just
there you go.
Learn about people. But it was actually, I have the classic female miniature painter story. Most females will tell you the same story of it was the other half, like boyfriend or girlfriend or partner, right, that gets them into it. Most girls that I speak to, I'm not speaking for every woman, but most girls that I speak to are like, oh yeah, my other half or ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, whatever, got me into it. And my other half, we've been together nearly 7 years now. Oh, wow. In the first 6 months, he had this mysterious box that I wasn't allowed to look in. It was this mysterious box. He was like, you're not allowed in there. And eventually I grinded him down. Yeah, literally, I grinded him down. He was like, no one's ever seen this box before. It's this thing called Warhammer. And he had a Dark Angels collection. Not a Dark Angels, a Dark Eldar collection, right, which have a new name now, but I still call them Dark Angels. Dark Eldar. Oh my God. This is the 6-hour stream last night. I'm still not recovered. Yeah, I just got into it, and then that was it. It just snowballed to the point where I have a mild addiction now.
Yeah, it gets that way very quickly. And
it really does.
Choosing Warhammer over, like I said, a typical dungeon crawler or something like that, you're not just dealing with 1 or 2 pieces. You got whole armies you have to paint.
Yes, especially if you can choose sort of how many models are in your army, but I and quite a lot of other people play like horde armies where you can have up to 50 just normal troops, and that doesn't even, and that's like a low level. I know people that have 150 little normal troops and then like another 100 other things, and it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
And that's not even, you didn't even get into like 4K or anything where
No, or like apocalyptic games. Oh gosh, no, I don't touch them. That's way too many models for me to keep track of. Sorry, I'll turn it slightly.
No worries. So what was your 4K then, or Warhammer was your first soiree as far as painting? Did you do any miniature or sculpting painting before this at all, or?
No, never. I always said I hated 3D work. I always said I hated 3D work. I still do. But there's a weird thing of painting a 3D object still feels like I'm 2D painting in a weird way. So no, Warhammer 40k was my first introduction, and then sprouted from there. And now I do loads of different minis. I've painted Kickstarters, like board games, dungeon crawlers, D&D models, and I'm getting my first bust next week, which I'm very excited for.
Oh, wow.
Like a 10-centimeter bust of an orc, which scary but very exciting.
Yeah, I over last year picked up Gatefall, which is a Jack Dyer project, and it's the figures are 3 3/4, like Star Wars scale.
Ooh, yeah.
And so it's a lot different than painting miniatures. Like I forgot how to paint eyeballs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you never have to paint eyeballs. It's just tiny little dots. That's it, and you sorted.
So yeah, I've been slowly working back on those. I got like 60 projects going on, which was part of this podcast, is because kind of focus on my art a little bit more and get that more part of my life again. And I have endless time because of, well, current situation.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel that I have bought so much over this pandemic, and I haven't actually painted that much of it as well. Which, my pile of shame is getting bigger by the day.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely kind of cut off buying miniatures for a little bit just because of that same reason. I have, I would say, upwards of 80 right now that are just kind of looking at me like, okay.
Yeah, I feel that I'm probably about the same. Looking over at my collection, that's all on shelves.
Yeah,
and it's all made, so it's like it's staring at me like, why am I not painted yet?
Yeah. Well, there were some good sales that went on last year too, so it was like I was able to pick up some stuff pretty cheap, and so I'm not over, condemning myself for the situation, but at the same time, it would be nice to actually focus on something mentally once in a while.
Definitely.
All right, so as far as for your non 3D work, then what kind of materials are you into as far as art?
I like to paint. I really like to paint. Acrylics, oil, watercolor, anything, paper, canvas. I haven't done any 2D art in like a long time, but it's definitely something I've said within 2021 I want to start doing again. I want to start sprouting all of my passions back off when it comes to art. Now I've really like settled within my Warhammer, and I'm at a really good place with it where it's coming naturally to me now. I don't really have to think about the brush strokes I'm making and stuff like that. I want to start doing canvas work and putting everything that I have in my head out on paper, because I create a lot. I daydream a lot, and I create a lot in my head that just never sees the light of day. So I definitely want to do that this year.
Are you thinking you're going to keep with that fantasy theme, or would you like that to more go like a complete opposite, like not your everyday?
I really like fantasy. I'm a massive fantasy fan. Either video games or like other media, but I've got really into sci-fi. I've been watching The Expanse, and I love it so much. Like I love that TV show. So I'm definitely branching into some weird and wonderful creativity.
Good.
For the new year. So hopefully we'll see some of it. Hopefully.
Well, now you have some places to put it up, if nothing else.
Yes, definitely.
So you said you're new, which I was noticing that actually. I was looking through your Instagram, like, oh, there's really nothing much before the year. Is there a reason you stayed away from it, or?
That within the Warhammer community, there used to be, it's a lot better now, like it's phenomenal now. Like it is really good, but every community has its problems.
Yeah.
I'm not one to shy away from talking about that, because every community, you go to a, like anime, manga, anything that I'm into, there's people that have issues.
Yeah.
And I felt like for such a long time the Warhammer community was very closed, and you had to hit certain expectations. You had to paint in a certain way. Your models had to look in a certain way. And then I got a model, my Mortarion model from my Death Guard, and I just fell in love with it. And I went, I don't care what people think. I want to show how much I love this model. And then I stopped caring. And then I realized as I got into the community, actually, those people that I thought made up the majority of the community actually don't. They don't. They were a small part, but they gave me so much anxiety that I avoided it.
Well, sadly, I think typically a lot of them are the loudest voices, whereas the people that, are really 100%. Like looking for help or looking for tips or ideas don't know where to go lots of times with a lot of that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think it's why I've made my Instagram and my Twitch. I am very protective over new people, and I'm very I try to be as beginner friendly as possible, because if people come into my Twitch or on my Instagram and they're like, I'm new, and I'm like, right, that's it, I will make this the best thing you've ever experienced. Come with me, let me shield you from all the negativity.
Almost like a psychologist talking.
Oh yeah, you think. Definitely, yeah.
Well, and I think the world itself, this last year has really kind of honed in on the, hey, don't be such a jerk. Not that you were before, 100%. But I think, in general, that is a lot of, that has worn down to not, we didn't even realize a lot of the things we were doing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like the movements that have happened in 2020 with like the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that has really brought to light a lot of things that maybe people weren't thinking, like you said, like didn't realize, weren't thinking about. Maybe the focus wasn't on it. So within the Warhammer community as well, there's been a huge drive this year for inclusivity. The Warhammer especially has been very active for females. So like this has been a phenomenal year for me to get involved, because the female drive behind the Warhammer community is really like risen its head above the water and been like, no, we're here and we're proud and we will make our voices heard.
With the orc grunt behind it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I could charge in with a wag and set the pace right there.
Have you noticed any, it's always weird for a guy to approach these topics, like any negativity as far as, well, you're just getting attention because you're a girl, or you're just
like constantly. I say no, I'm lying with constantly. Right. Like that makes it sound like it's like a lot. There's a lot within yourself. Like I get a lot of self-doubt of like, people aren't watching me because I'm good, or they're not watching me because they're interested in me. They're not watching me because they like my painting. They're watching me because I'm a female. So like that's been something I've struggled with. But you get the odd comment. I've had the odd comment. I've had a few people make jokes, but it's very much become a joke now. I actually had it last night when I jumped into the voice chat on my Discord, when I was like, oh yeah, that was a really great stream, like great night, guys. Like I had a blast, and someone was like, oh yeah, well, obviously you had lots of viewers because you're a female. And I was like, I will find you and I will hurt you. And he was like, no, I'm joking. I'm joking. And I'm like, yeah, I know those guys are joking, but it's never nice, but you get it within the gaming. My best friend is a gaming streamer, and she gets the exact same thing on her Instagram as well. It's, well, you're only doing it because you're a female, you get attention. And I'm like, I'd still be sat in my hobby room. I didn't invest thousands of pounds in this plastic stuff for other people's attention. I just so happen to enjoy sharing it, sort of thing.
Well, but and it'd be different if there wasn't quality behind it too. I mean, if I'll be throwing some of your stuff up here on the when I actually finish doing the video editing, but the quality's there too. So you can't say that it's just because of like, I'm putting up junk and just seeing what you can sell to people, as in, being a girl and selling yourself. You actually put quality out there. So it's, it's you can't
Thank
really
you.
you can't
No,
really
definitely. Thank you. It means a lot. I've been blessed with a community of people that have supported me on Instagram, Twitch, and like we have our own Discord server now, and they are the first people to jump to my defense. Whether it's myself that's questioning myself, or whether somebody else comes in and says something that instantly like, "We're not here because you have boobs.
Yeah,
we're here for you because you're funny." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you. I needed that. I was just gonna have a little cry for a second."
No, I think it definitely it helps to have some crusaders along with you as well.
Yeah, definitely. We have there was a huge movement with it was hashtag Ladyhammer,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like I might get her name wrong, so I'm not going to say who started it because I'm
yeah.
very scared of getting a name wrong. I think it was Warhammer Princess, but I'm not quite sure. I feel like she might have changed the name because there's been a few name changes
Yeah.
within the female community, and that was phenomenal. Where she did interviews every single week with females, and you just didn't realize how many females were in the community, and it really brought light to that, and that definitely silenced a few voices. I think definitely,
Good.
but it is what it is. You just stay positive and move on. That's
Yeah.
what I try to do anyway. And anyone that gives me crap for being a woman, I don't want to play with and I don't want to paint with.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. There's enough nice people out there that you just leave the haters where they are and just carry on going.
So what actual time for playing have you had then in this
On this year, it's been
yeah.
so sad.
Yeah.
I have a friend that's within my social support bubble,
Okay.
who also plays. So I've had the odd game with him when we've got together, but that's been, I think, twice in maybe the last 6 months because we try to keep it to as minimum as possible.
Yeah.
It's only when, at the end of the day, everyone's mental health is going to take a hit to this. So, my other half plays, so I've been blessed that if I'm craving a game, I can play with him. I've just bought Blood Bowl 2, Season 2, so I'm learning Blood Bowl at the moment, so that's been quite good fun. Of trying to teach myself a new game.
I think I played the original one 25 years when that came out, 30 years maybe now.
Yeah, it's super old now. Yeah, the original ones that came out. Yeah, and then they revamped it, I think.
Yeah, like
maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They just released Season 2, so I'm doing like my subscribers are choosing models, and then I'm painting them their colors, and then we're naming them because it's a tradition within Blood Bowl to name your characters because you have so little. You only have like maximum 16.
Yeah.
So everyone's choosing models, and then I get to paint them in their colors and then name them. So it's like a really fun thing that we're doing with Blood Bowl, which is really nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like I said, I've been doing more painting for other people than I've been doing even my own. And maybe that's because it gives me some purpose on it and like makes me actually get it done. Like I've had a mold for a casting in front of my desk for I don't know 3 weeks now and just haven't done any more with it.
Oh no, definitely. I do commissions as well, and I've had a commission over Christmas, and I like commissions because I get to paint a model I've never painted before 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And it makes me paint. I have to get up and I have to paint because if they get it late, that like I don't want them to get it late, sort of thing. So I've been it's been nice. It's kept me motivated over this lockdown.
Yeah.
The UK's had like 7 now. So.
Yeah. Well, we've just been in a constant one. I'm in Seattle too, so it's a very liberal town. It's a town that from day one was taking it pretty seriously. So, that, and we also had some of the first cases in the country in our city too, so we had to take it serious pretty quickly. But that being said, we still are hugely under every lockdown. They just reclosed restaurants again.
Yeah.
There's the new strain that everybody's worried about.
Oh, don't, because we're like one of the only countries that has the new strain.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's got nothing to do with us. Yeah, we've just cracked down on our lockdown rules. Most of the country has gone into complete lockdown, and then I'm currently in an area where non-essential shops are open, but bars and restaurants are. So you could go clothes shopping,
Gotcha.
basically.
Yeah.
But those sort of places shut when there's no need
Yeah.
for them. But everything I need basically stays
There you
open,
go.
or I have the internet. So I'm easily pleased.
Yeah, I do pretty much, with the exception of food, do all shopping pretty much from Amazon at this point.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Jeff
Etsy's been my
Bezos.
best friend. Yeah, Etsy's been my best friend at the moment. Keep just finding models on Etsy, and I'm like, well, I got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Well, that's actually a good. So Warhammer is a British thing initially.
It is.
And it, the whole miniature world really comes from war miniatures from, way back when, during the actual wars. So that's been always kind of a thing on that side of the pond. Do you find it let's see, I'm trying to think how to phrase this. Do you find it odd that so many British people are into it, or is it just part of your, with part of your upbringing as far as war miniatures?
It's
And
really not. Like it's really still shamed. Like not shamed, but
right.
like if I say to people like most people don't know what Warhammer is. To
Yeah.
say it originated in the UK, like their home base is in Nottingham. There's so many people that I'm like, oh yeah, I paint Warhammer. And they're like, is that weird shop that I see that I walk by with all those like Lord of the Rings stuff? And I'm like, yeah, Games Workshop. That's the shop that you're seeing. Like, I've never been in. It just looks a bit weird. And I'm like, okay, you go. But like, there's, especially this year, Warhammer has grown so much.
Yeah.
So much. They did such a smart thing with that Indominus box. The hype for that box was unreal. And they brought so many people into that community, people that had painted when they were younger, or people that had just seen it. And right now, my Instagram is just full of new people, which is amazing. Like, I'm hyped. I'm like, yes, more people. We will rule the world one day. But it's also like really peculiar that now people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I got into a group chat with my colleagues. I'm still technically employed. I'm just on like
hiatus,
furlough. Yeah, like little pause. And one of them was like, "Keris, don't you paint that Warhammer?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh, my friends got into it. We're gonna have a game like post COVID," and I'm like, "Sorry, what? You know what Warhammer is?" And they're like, "Yeah, it looks quite fun." And I'm like, mind blown, absolutely mind blown. But I like it.
Yeah, that kind of happened to me about well, realistic, like to start with all the Marvel movies and all that stuff. Because I've been in comics forever, and so now I have 200 people coming to me for comic book questions when any new movie comes out. Well, where's this character? Who's this? Why does this person do this?
Person?
Yeah. And then, well, with Star Wars too, I get every Baby Yoda meme there is, because I'm the Star Wars guy. So
that Star Wars guy.
Yeah, that Star Wars guy, the one and only, the one of us.
To be fair though, any sort of like anything to do with miniatures, anything to do with anything nerdy, it gets sent to me on Facebook. People far and wide that I have known in my life send me the weirdest things. Because quote unquote, it looks like my sort of thing. Because now I'm just known as that person that likes that weird thing and likes to make tiny models. Yeah. So I feel you.
As far as the community goes for Warhammer, have you noticed people leaving or anything because of that? Like, just like, well, I'm sick of the flooding of newbies, or the flooding of, because like gaming, sometimes you'll get that word, like you'll get a whole bunch of new people in it, and like, well, this game isn't fun anymore because of all the new people, and then move out and move to something else.
It's anybody that has moaned about the flood of new people is an elitist, and they're not worth your time, because 95% of people are just so excited.
Yeah.
It's new people to be inspired by. The best people in the community get inspired by other people. Like my biggest inspirations are people that I follow and mutual friends and stuff like that, because their brain comes out with some crazy stuff, and new people in the community, especially now a lot of the barriers have been broken down, come up with the craziest stuff because they've never had that.
Right.
Those rules sort of subconsciously put into them.
Like this has to be this color because this is what orcs are, you know, like that kind of nonsense.
Yeah. Like I paint all my orcs green, and someone came to me last night actually was like, well, when it gets to my model, are you ready to paint red skin? And I was like, well, why would I paint red skin? And it was like, because you know, orcs can be red. The orcs can be any color you want. They're fungus. And I'm like, yeah, I've never even thought of that idea. Like I've never come up with the idea of doing like red skin orcs. It was like, oh, I'll send you a lot of people that do it. And I've found loads of new people that I became like massively inspired by. So yeah, it's brilliant. I love seeing new people. Nice. And most people do. Yeah, they do.
We'll get a little bit more into technique maybe then, seeing as we're talking about red skin now. What has your progress been from start to where you're at now?
Absolutely crazy. Like actually crazy. I've recently just done a comparison. Right. So one of the first ever models I did was an orc snazwagon, and
I'll have to put little translations up for people with all these because
it's just a fast car basically. And then I was like, I'm going to redo it a year later and just see like my progress. And I blew myself away. I was just like, oh my, this is my painting standard now. Like, this is crazy. And it just comes so fast.
Yeah.
Like once you do, like any hobby, you do it enough, you slowly develop. But I've spent, especially this lockdown, for the past 2 months, really honing my skills and doing stuff I never would do. Like I've learned how to like glaze, which is just watering down your paints to an excessive amount and doing like 15 layers instead of 2. Like stippling and dry brushing, all these things that I'd seen and never really dared. And then I've brought it into my hobby, and it's definitely leveled up, and it's been amazing. It's given me more confidence just to keep doing it.
Right.
Because I've only hardcore painted for a year. Like before that, I was in and out. So I'm just like, imagine where I'm going to be in 5. I might win a competition one day.
Have you gotten into airbrushing at all, or?
I actually ordered my first airbrush today.
Uh-oh.
So I'm very excited. I will be doing airbrushing in the future. It's a bit of a money dive to get into it. You need like a good amount of money to get into it. So
well, and it's not just the equipment. Then you also have to get like ventilation. You gotta, you know, and your paints, not all of them translate to airbrushing either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to order today. So most of my paints translate, but metallics don't. So I've had to basically buy fresh metallic paints for my airbrush. And I didn't even get an expensive one. I got like a cheap one.
Yeah.
And it was still like not a cheap one.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna try it out. It's one of those ones that I want to try. I've never done it before. So
yeah, it's that next level that I haven't gotten there either. But it's that, okay, when should I actually reasonably think about this as a thing?
Yes, definitely. That was, I used to use really crap brushes, like really bad brushes, like a pack of 10 for like a $5.
Right.
And every night when I streamed, my chat was just full of, look at those brushes. They're disgusting. Look at the hook. Look at the hook on the end of it. It's not even straight anymore. It's hooked. And I was just like, well, this is how I paint. It's fine. And then I got new brushes, thanks to my Twitch chat. Thank you guys if you're watching this. I got new brushes, and they're nice brushes. They're proper miniature brushes.
Yeah.
And I instantly was like, oh my God, I can paint. Like my level just went up tenfold just with nice brushes. And I was like, oh God, what have I done to myself?
Well, the other thing though is forcing yourself to make your stuff better with cheaper brushes, it probably also turned you or taught you a lot of things as well.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't ever tell someone like you need to use nice brushes, because you don't. You can do
Right.
great things with
Yeah.
cheap things. It's just there's always that point where you're going to need to step up.
Yeah.
And I was hitting that barrier for so long, and I was pushing away from it. Like, I don't need nice brushes. I don't need them. And now I finally got them. I'm like, okay, I feel a bit like a professional now. Like I look at them and I literally just like stare at them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're so beautiful. I love you so much.
Well,
I don't want to use you.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, I mean, even the starter kits, you know, that you get from like Green Stuff World or stuff like that, they're typically enough for a good beginner, you know. And
Oh yeah, easily.
you know, as long as you're not getting the like 20 for one from Walmart, you know, you're probably already starting at a better level than that, you know.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
And then with paints are the one thing that you can lose your mind on paints. Like how many pints are you up to now as far as paints?
I wouldn't dare to think. I would not dare to think. I have over 100 pots of paint.
Yeah.
From Citadel alone, and now I've started using Vallejo paints and Army Painter. So I have another 20 from them.
Yeah, I went straight. I started with Army Painter. I don't like the lids on the. I don't like actually dipping. So you know, so that's why I went for the Army Painter, because you can, you know, squeeze out what you want and then you're done.
Yeah,
and the lid doesn't have to stay open.
I decided to these pots with the push lids.
Yeah.
I've decided to decant them into bottles.
Hey, it makes sense, and I think it makes your paints last a lot longer too.
It does, but it took me 4 hours to do 10.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, because the guys on the Discord were like, it took me 4 hours to do all 100 of mine. So why did it take you 4 hours to do 10?
Well, you can send a case to them and they can send it back to you.
Thank you. That's what I said. I was like, do you want to come and do it for me? Because I can't do this. So I've got like 10 decanted and the rest just sat here looking at me from a pile of paints.
What I've liked over the last like 2 years, I've really noticed because they constantly get shoved into my feed, the organizers, the paintbrush organizer or paint pot organizers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love mine. I think I have it's actually a nail polish.
Oh,
rack.
okay. Yeah.
But somebody actually had put it on their Instagram saying like, I know this says it's nail varnish, but like this, it fits the pots in perfectly.
Yeah.
So I've just got one of them and it's made my life easier.
Yeah.
So much easier. But it looks so much bigger now. Instead of a pile in a box, they're all laid out. So it looks like I have even more of an addiction than I already did.
Well, yeah, but it makes such a difference when you can just grab, you know, exactly, as opposed to have to like fumble through a box of
There's
colors.
no fumbling.
Yeah.
I have them like all with their like names forward, so I can see exactly what colors I want to get. I have all my washes together and then my contrast paints together, so it's really satisfying. It is nice to see. Yeah, I
still pretty much run, with the exception of I've gotten some of the like the color changing stuff with metallic washes and stuff like that. Other than that, I pretty much run like just a really simple palette, and then I'll mix custom color, because I'm not doing a whole army at a time. I'm only doing like one figure. So if I don't have a color, I just make the color.
See, and the reverse. I hate mixing colors. Like, I get it all the time on my stream where they're like, I'll say like, oh, I want to use this color. Like, let me see if I can find it. They'll be like, you've got a red and a yellow, so there, Karis, just mix an orange. And I'm like, no. I don't mix. I'll find my orange. And then I have one orange and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to mix. And I sit for like 10 minutes working out how to mix this color. For a college student that has done art for 3 years, you'd think I'd know how to mix basic colors, but I do not.
Well, there's other factors to it too, because you know you have to get the consistency right, otherwise it doesn't flow on the model. You know, there's a lot of different.
You're just trying to make me feel better. It's okay.
I mean, it's the problem we all run into though. Like with any type of small painting, is you know, you end up looking like the guy has pock face if you do it, if you're not mixing right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But all right, so you got some potential 2D art projects coming up. You got your Blood Bowl going on as far as for your Twitch stream. And then who knows when real world will start back up otherwise. 2020's looking not too bad for you.
Hopefully. I'm hoping the world reopens. Instagram has enabled me to make so many new friends.
Yeah.
So many friends. I've made so many friends this year that I count as friends. They're not just online people, that they're my friends. Probably have more people online this year than I have in real life. In offense. But it's because of my hobby. I've found people that like the same stuff as me through the internet. And there's so many of them that live near.
Yeah.
Like there's people that live in the next city.
Nice.
And I'm like, right, once COVID's over, I need to buy you a beer. Like we need to go to Warhammer World. We need to play a game.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to do a tour of England in the new year and go and meet all my friends once COVID's done.
Yeah.
Once it's safe.
I have a small tour planned for afterwards as well. It's weird too, because with the States, I mean, it's like the whole EU basically, but all in one spot,
Yeah.
So going from from Washington to Oregon to, is you going from London to Ireland to Scotland to wherever there.
Yeah, probably.
What's your
probably
furthest?
Further.
Yeah. What's your furthest person that's connected with your stream that you?
I have a guy from Florida that I'm really good friends with, which is really cool. And then there's a lovely girl in South Korea as well.
Oh, nice.
That she's literally just started in the hobby.
Okay.
And she just happened to drop by my stream while she was finding some people to watch and learning Warhammer. So I've been communicating with it. The time difference is quite hard, but we've been communicating nearly on the daily. And she's starting a Tyrannid army. So that's been exciting to see. That's about it. I've got some friends. I've got quite a few in Scotland. Warhammer's super popular in Scotland from what I can tell. There's so many Scottish people in my streams. They just like the Yorkshire.
Oh,
they like the Yorkshireness. They're here for the painting of the Yorkshire. I'm not quite sure.
It was funny. I got stuck in China. I lost my passport. So
oh my gosh.
I was there for the better part of 2 weeks. But going through the city, what was funny to me is that there was one of them, I believe, was an official Warhammer shop. And then another one was just another miniature shop. And I was I was looking for kind of a fake one because I don't actually play Warhammer. I didn't need authentic.
Yeah, 100%
stuff. And so I was looking for kind of a bootleg shop. And then I came across an actual like licensed shop. I'm like, what are you doing in the middle of China? But the guy says that they sell out of every line that comes through. Like it's.
Yeah. It's huge in China and like Asia, Japan. When I went there, I went to Japan, not technically last year, in 2021, technically 2 years ago, for a couple of weeks. And I saw a Games Workshop there and I was like, the Holy Grail is all the way out here. They didn't have any I was hoping they'd have some like limited edition ones that I could take home and be like, I have a Japanese one, but they didn't have anything. So.
Yeah, there's not a samurai. I mean, like a actual like. I guess there's ish, isn't there? Like kind of a Asian-ish themed Warhammer set.
So originally, from what I am aware, and I apologize if I get this wrong, the Tau are mechas, and they were originally part of their marketing scheme to get into Asia.
Oh.
So they have quite Asian cultures built within their lore, and then obviously there's all the mechs, and they were the first lot of almost.
That's right, because they were like the first style. Like mech stuff. That's right.
Yeah. Way before like AdMech and stuff like that, they were the first proper mechy stuff. So that was to appeal to the Asian audience, apparently. Yeah,
makes sense. Probably some of my more favorite of that world is always the mechs or the, you know, the big huge monster suits.
Yeah, they took a lot of inspiration from like is it Gundam?
Gundam, yeah.
Yeah, because that's making and painting
Yeah.
basically models. So they were made very similar to those. I've never actually got my hands on a Gundam. It'd be something I'd probably do it at some point.
It's fun because I would say if you're going to do one, start with just a small one, just so you build one, and then get a bigger one to paint, because the small ones, I mean, they're paintable obviously, but the big ones, then you have a lot more ability to customize and personalize and stuff.
I get overwhelmed by big plain spots, so like I don't know, that's my worry. I had a cow, I had quite a few cow bits, but because I'm an Orc and Death Guard player, I deal with a lot of like squidginess, like fleshiness, and sharp edges, sharp plain edges. Not my thing. You've got to have a talent for that.
It's 2021 now. You gotta, you know, change it up a bit. We're making red orcs and we're making robots.
Making robots. Definitely.
Cool. So what have you found as far as, obviously there's a lot of cost. I mean, on average, one miniature technically is around $5-6, and they're 22 centimeter or 20. What is the standard size? Yeah, that size.
That size. Whatever that size is.
Yeah, exactly. There's a scale somewhere. I don't know.
32. It's 32 millimeter.
Yes, there you go.
32. There you go.
What have you found as far as cost over enjoyment? Now, obviously, we're in a weird state right now where we're stuck at home, and so there's some variances there, but this isn't your first time ever painting these either.
The cost is high. I'm not gonna lie to anyone. Warhammer's expensive. It's called plastic crack for a reason. It's expensive. But the joy and the memories that I have with, and that sounds so peculiar, but as somebody that's arty, you'll probably understand this, but I don't just get joy out of painting them. I get joy out of making them and then playing the games. I have so many memories as if they were happening, like as if the actual model had moved and the crazy stuff that I imagined was going on in the middle of my games happened. I have so many fond memories that I don't care how much it costs. That it's a phenomenal hobby and I love it. I just always recommend, especially for new people, you don't have to have every model. You don't have to have every model that you want to play with.
Right.
If you get the right person that's going to play with you, that we do things called like proxying. So if you were to say, right, let's meet, let's play a game, I've never played Warhammer, I would bring every model that I owned and we would just pretend that those models were whatever models you wanted. And then you could play a game with your entire army that you made and you chose, but you wouldn't have to cash out for the models. And then you just slowly, you don't need to do a me and buy way too much. Just you can do it slowly. It's just an addiction. As soon as you get one piece, you just start buying more. But there's a lot of third-party retailers, which they're official stuff. It's just through.
Well, and that's the thing is once stuff's, you know, you can find sometimes a little bit older kits or something like that where you can at least build your army a little bit, you know, as far as for going for the brand new shiny.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like the other bit I think as well with Warhammer is the stores are amazing. I cannot give enough positivity to the stores because the guys that work there, know how to sell you stuff.
Yeah.
I never walk out of that shop empty-handed. And they will sit and they will teach you the game. They will go over rule books with you. They will teach you about the codexes. They will teach you how to paint. They do sessions, they do games, they do painting competitions, they do gaming competitions. They are there pretty much 24/7 to help you. And it's phenomenal. It's absolute. And then you meet the people there as well. And it is brilliant. So for the money, for getting into the hobby, it's worth it. Every penny to me is worth it.
Nice.
100%. Yeah.
It's good you're not crying yourself over your checkbook at night. That's good.
I mean, I probably need to stop buying, but it's worth it. every limited edition model that comes out, I'm like, I don't even play that army. Don't even like that model. It's limited edition. Should probably paint it.
Yeah, it's I mentioned comic books and that before. I grew up very close to a comic shop in Florida, actually. And I worked there for a couple summers, just basically would be in back organizing toy trays, because they sold a lot of loose action figure stuff too. And it was amazing, the community of people that were just almost lived there, like would just be hanging out and doing whatever, talking about weird one-offs and weird collections of things. And it's always been well, now nerd is norm at this point now, whereas growing up it was people that didn't have anywhere else, so that's why they were there.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, I never found Warhammer when I was younger, but I really wish I had, because I was like super bullied when I was a kid. Always struggled through high school, and I wish I'd have found this joy when I was younger and had that place, which is why I'm like, I think it's part of the reason I want the new people in. Because some of them will message me at like 1:00 in the morning. They'll be like, I've done this, I've painted this, like, I don't know where to go. Can you help me? I'm so sorry. It's 1 a.m. and I'm like, I'm awake and I'm always here. I literally live and breathe this stuff now. It's just, it's bad. As long as everything goes well, I'll be full time. By summer, hopefully.
How is your partner taking your transition from a once in a while noob painter to now the star of her own channel? And
well, he's just, so he goes through bits and bobs with Warhammer. He'll paint and play quite often. So he's always within the community. So there's me, him, and my friend Connor, or Terrain Rocks over on Instagram. And that are the three within like my friendship sort of circle. We all play Warhammer. We all talk about Warhammer. We love the hobby. Connor specializes on terrain, and he makes his own terrain.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, like literally from foam. He's phenomenal. He's amazing. I paint, and Tom has struggled with his army. You do need to find an army that you love, and he's gone through 5 or 6 now that we sell on, we give to somebody else, or I'll use it.
There's not really rules for like a community army.
No, he wants a bit of everything, but he's just found Sisters of Battle, Adeptus Astartes. I feel that's like not the right word. Sisters of Battle.
Right.
And he loves them. So now he's like obsessed over Warhammer again, which is really nice.
Well, it is scantily clad nuns. I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with that.
Who wouldn't love them? But he's enjoying painting them. He's loved making them, and he's really passionate about the army. So he's back into it now, which is really nice.
He's got a whole army of waifu, come on.
I know, that's all I need. That's all I want in my life. But he's making me want to paint them. So he's got the models, and I'm like, pretty please, could I paint one? And he's like, no, because that one will be really good, and then mine will all look crap. And I'm like, no, you can still paint, I promise, it's okay. I think it's a little bit intimidating, in all fairness, coming up to my station. My entire desk is set up for Warhammer.
Well, I mean, I guess it's like anything. You have personal goals you want to get to, and then you have realization of talent also, which hits every once in a while a little harder than you'd want it to.
Oh no, definitely. I think it's
especially once you bring this airbrush into the game, it's over at that point.
It's all Well, in all fairness, I was saying to him, like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy an airbrush. I like having a paintbrush in my hand. I love painting. So I don't know how much I'm going to use my airbrush, but he's really excited for the airbrush. And there's a lot he could do with his sisters with the airbrush. So although I will use it, I may only use it to block out colors. I may not use it for anything special. And then he can be the pro with the airbrush.
There you go.
He might be the pro with the airbrush. There's always something that To be fair, he's like a jack of all trades. He's brilliant at playing the game. He's good at making them. He's good at wizzy-wigging, like putting like 3 models to make one. And he's decent at painting. I can't wizzy-wig.
So wait a second. We just hit it. I think over the pond thing. So over here, it's kit bashing.
Okay, yeah, kit bashing, yeah.
What is it? Wizzy-wigging?
I feel like I say wizzy-wig.
So that's not a technical British term for.
I don't think so. Yeah, kit bashing is the correct term.
Oh, okay. No, I like wizzy-wigging. I mean, it works.
I don't know where that came from. I've always just called it wizzy-wigging. I'm going to put that in my Discord later and be like, is wizzy-wigging a real word, or have I made this up?
Well, here's the question. Did you use it before model making? Like when you do like mixed media art or anything like that? Was that wizzy-wigging?
No. I got told that that's what the name was when you like kit bashed. It was it's a wizzy-wig. That's a wizzy-wigged model.
Okay, no, that works. That's
I'm gonna have to find out if I've made this up.
Yeah.
6 years down the line, I'm still just making mistakes.
Well, I mean, it took me 38 years to find out I was not born in a barn.
Okay.
So I'm originally from Wisconsin. There's a medical clinic birthing center thing that was an old transferred barn, and 2 of my siblings were born there, and I was not born there, and I got the history mixed up. So this was like a kind of like a proud point where I would tell people, yeah, I was born in a barn, like I was born in a barn. And apparently I was not.
Oh, that's devastating. So did that just change everything?
Exactly. It just changed my whole history. So wizzy-wig is you were born in the barn.
Thank you. I love that. The whole life you've just been like, I was born in a bar.
Yeah.
A barn.
Barn, yeah.
And then just one day it's like, no, you weren't. I was like, yeah, I was. No, you weren't. Proof.
Yeah. That's what family's for, is to crush your hopes and dreams.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, that's a good question actually too. Like, how is because we talked a little bit about family before we started. How have they taken this change in your life career?
My mum always hears about my models. Right. So since I got into them, she's bought me like Warhammer every year, either whether it's been paints or paintbrushes or some form of Warhammer. Every year since I've got into it, she's normally bought me something. She's so supportive.
That's cool.
She really is. She doesn't really understand like what I do.
Right, because you could say artist and they're an artist, whereas this is different, because you definitely are an artist, but it's
it's a weird one. Like I send her pictures and she's like, oh, that's amazing, Keris. You're the best in the world. And I'm like, thanks, Mom. I appreciate that.
But you can't stick that on the refrigerator either.
No. But like when I ring her and I'll talk about my Twitch, like she'll say like, how's your streams going? And I'm like, they're going really well. Thank you. Like I have a Discord server with all of these people in, and it's like strangers on the internet. Should be talking to strangers on the internet. I'm like, yeah. And it's different.
Yeah.
And then when I hit 2,000 on my Instagram, my sisters text me and they were like, you're famous. And I was like, I'm not famous. They're like, you're an internet personality. And I'm like, I'm not an internet personality. Yeah. But that's all they see. That my sisters they don't even really care about the models. They just go, are you having fun? Yes. Well, it looks good.
Yeah.
So have fun. Yeah. When I told my mum I want to quit my job and do this full time, her first reaction was like, no, this isn't you can't do this full time. And I was like, all right, watch me. And then a month later, I'm like, oh, by the way, Mum, look at all this, like, look at how far I've come. I'm starting YouTube in the new year. Like, it's all coming up, Millhouse. And she's like, oh, I always knew you could do it.
Have you monetized on Twitch yet? Have you?
So Twitch, I'm an affiliate.
You're an affiliate now, okay.
Yeah, I'm an affiliate. I have a lovely bunch of people that bless me with subscriptions, which I never thought people would. Like, it's not needed at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this regardless, but every penny that I earn through that comes back into it. So
Right.
the Blood Bowl was funded by the guys. I couldn't have afforded that without it. My airbrush, that was funded through my sub money and stuff like that. So everything that any money that I earn just goes straight back into either making the channel better or
Right.
stuff that people want to see me do, or ways I can give back. Like that, the whole Blood Bowl box is going to be named after subs because they're the ones that made it happen, sort of thing. But I just love building like a little community. We do have like a little community, and I just love sitting and talking like this. Like this is my favorite thing to do. I love just hanging out, and any way I can help people or just have some fun. My Twitch streams are they're not very serious. We mess about a lot. There's a lot of chatting. I don't actually get that much painting done. And it's just to hang out. Regardless of how much money my stuff makes, I will just keep doing this. I could be making no money at all, and I'd still be sat here. I'd still be doing the exact same stuff that I'd be doing. So if I'm blessed enough that I can leave my job, I'll do it. But I'll still be painting regardless.
Yeah, I think that's that was the start of the podcast too, that I've, is just that I missed that part of my life where I'm not, interacting with my friends and stuff like that. So I had to regain that in some way. Now it's been kind of neat because it's people that I don't actually know. Like I didn't know you before this at all. And so finding out where their creativity comes from, where their inspiration comes from, it's been a fun process. I mean, I'm not even hit 100 subscribers yet on YouTube, but the feedback and the little bit of friendship I've made from this point on, I just hit my microphone, from this point has been, it's been really enjoyable. It's really, it's made this year tolerable.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think for people like yourself that, you do something that you love and you do it because you love it, it really shows, and like it brings so much joy to other people. Like it's just crazy. Like you said, you've built friendships with people, but those people you've helped them, but like you never know what situation they're in. And there's been people that like I Twitch streamed on Christmas Day because my biggest thing in the world was I'm blessed. I have someone that I live with.
Right.
But there's people that don't. There's people that are completely by themselves. So if I can sit for a couple of hours and keep somebody company, I'm gonna do that. We've all just got to help each other. So your podcast will be helping someone, whether it's later down the line or right now. That's the brilliance of the internet. It could be like 10 years in future, someone's listening to your stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's it's. It's also the whole, like, don't buy too much into the pie also. Like you have to kind of keep a balance of like, I mean, sure, now, you do have the 2,000 followers and stuff like that, but you also have to keep that balance of, don't let your head explode too much with it. Don't,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like I just try to stay, what's the word? Like, gracious isn't the word. Like I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
Like I never expect anything more, and I hope, like I would love to do this full time, but like at the end of the day, whatever I can accomplish, I'll accomplish, and I'm happy where I am right now. If I never move and I just get to do 3 nights a week live streaming, and I just get to post to my Instagram and meet new people every week, I'm happy.
That's awesome.
This is the dream already. Yeah. So anything else that happens is just the cherry on top, really, for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, this has been fun. We got some things to look forward to on your streams. Some Hopefully. Things. Some commissions. Maybe people, if they want something done, can send some stuff your way.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's a thing. It's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I get a commission, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. I'm so happy. And then
Then you have to
I
give it
sit
away.
down, and then I have to give it back, and I'm like, they were so nice. Take them back.
Well, down with no, not down with Instagram. It's been fun. This is good.
No, it has. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks for watching TESTPLUG.
No worries. Thanks, guys.